You know, I've been talking about a lot of these states and giving you state-by-state examples. I'm going to give you some examples to think about in Utah. Utah is the home of the state transfer movement. Utah is the home of all of the craziness about getting rid of the public lands. Well, I'm going to give you some examples about why Utah wants to get their hands on these tens of millions of acres of BLM and Forest Service land that's within the boundaries of Utah. But a little history to Utah. When Utah became a state, the federal government said, we're going to give you 7+ million acres of land to fund your state school systems. Utah has sold over half of that since statehood. And if you go to the Utah State Land Board website right now, it'll give you a list of the previous auctions. And last October, I think it was, they sold 3,000 acres of prime land down in south central Utah. I think it's in late May of this year, they're getting ready to do another big land auction. So rather than tell the people, look, we got to make some hard decisions about funding our schools, right now they're just in the mode of selling the asset that should generate that money. And they're going to run out of inventory someday. And they want your federal lands as their inventory. I ain't going for that. If you people in Utah can't figure out how to fund your schools with the land that you were granted, even though you've already sold half of it, that's your problem. That's not the rest of the country's problem. And there's the craziness of Utah right now. Their legislature has appropriated $14 million to sue the federal government to turn over the federal lands within the state boundaries of Utah. Utah went to their universities, I think it's Utah State, University of Utah, and asked the economists there to do a study about what would be the economic projections, the financial projections if Utah took over ownership of the tens of millions of acres of public federal lands, if those became assets to be managed by the Utah State Land Board. So that study was done, and the results tell us pretty much what we've known all along. And it shows you how state transfer really is going to result in disposal. And here's how it goes. Like most of the other western states, Utah, by statute, their land board has to make a profit on lands or else dispose of them. So these economists do the big 800-page study, and it talks about how the revenues will come to the state of Utah for managing these lands, now that they're state lands. And I'm going to summarize. Go read it yourself. What it says is that oil prices need to stay somewhere up around $90 a barrel. Well, right now, oil prices are in the $30 per barrel range, mid-30s. That's a huge difference. Natural gas prices have to stay over $5. Right now, it's like $2.50. So let's walk through it. We give Utah the 30 million or however many acres of BLM and Forest Service lands. They can't afford them because commodity prices are way below a break-even point for them. What do they have to do by law? They have to sell your land. The land that you currently can hunt, fish, hike, do whatever as a U.S. citizen would be sold. That is the Ponzi scheme. That is the house of cards that they're using. They want the states to be the conduit. And that's why I'm so opposed to the idea of state transfer. And the fact that the Utah legislators appropriated $14 million to sue the federal government cracks me up. Because first of all the cases say they're going to lose. Pretty much all the legal experts say they're going to lose. But they're going to go and blow that money anyhow. And even if they did win, which they won't, they can't afford to manage those lands profitably. They know it, the economists know it, you and I know it. So then they'll have to sell them, and then they'll say, mission accomplished. That's what it's about, folks. It's about getting rid of the public lands. It's about taking them from you and getting them in the hands of their political friends. It's that simple.